Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the entire passage, written in the simplest full clarity, like teaching a beginner or child. Summary. Why did India lose to Mahmud of Ghazni and Muhammad of Ghur? Some people, especially British historians who wrote during colonial times, gave a very simple and unfair answer. They said, Indians lost because they were weak soldiers. The Turks won because they were strong, ate meat, came from cold lands, and were used to war. But this explanation is wrong, shallow, and not based on facts. It was mostly inferior British rule over India. Here's why that theory does not make sense. 1. Indian soldiers have always been brave and strong. Even in ancient times, Indian armies won many great wars. Even during British rule, Indian soldiers fought bravely all over the world. In Europe, Africa, and Asia, especially in World War I and II. So how can we say their ancestors, who were more free and who fought for their own nation, were weaker? 2. The idea that people from cold climates are better fighters is unscientific. There is no proof that climate makes someone a better soldier. Many great fighters came from hot climates too. 3. The idea that meat eaters are better fighters is also false. Many strong warriors in history were vegetarians. Also, in the time of Mahmud and Muhammad of Ghur, Indian soldiers were not all vegetarians. Many ate meat, hunted, and trained for battle. So, the real reasons for India's defeat must be found somewhere else, not in these false ideas. India didn't lose because its people were weak. It lost for other reasons, like lack of unity between Indian kings, poor planning, betrayals, and better military tactics used by the invaders. Final message. The Indian soldier was never weak. Not in the past, not during foreign rule, and not today. So the British explanation that Indians lost because they were physically weaker is wrong and biased. We must look deeper and more honestly to understand the real reasons for our defeats in history. Let me know if you'd like me to now explain the real causes of India's defeat to Mahmud and Muhammad Ghur in the same deep, easy, and detailed way. Absolutely. Here is an even deeper, very detailed explanation of the same passage in the simplest language possible. Total beginner or a curious child. I'll go word by word, line by line, with extra context, examples, and comparisons so that every sentence becomes totally clear. Original line. It will be well to divide them into two categories, namely 1. General causes and 2. Particular causes. Explanation. Let's divide the reasons for India's defeat into 2 types. 1. General causes equals big, common problems affecting the whole country. 2. Particular causes equals special or specific problems in certain cases or battles not explained here. Think of general cause, a disease in the whole body, like weakness everywhere. Particular causes, a cut on one finger. Original line. As regards the general causes, our political disunity must be held primarily responsible. Explanation. Among the general problems, the biggest and most important one was political disunity. What is political disunity? It means that the kings of India did not stay united. Each king cared only about his own area, like his fort, palace, or city, not the whole of India. Example. Imagine a school is being attacked, but all the class monitors only protect their own classroom and don't help each other. The whole school will fall, one by one. That's what happened in India. Original line. Each prince had to fight single-handed, and he fought for his own kingdom and territory, as it were, and not for his country and people. Explanation. Each ruler had to fight alone, single-handed, with no help from other rulers. He fought only for his own land, his palace, his region, not for India as a whole, and not for all the people. Why is this bad? Because a foreign invader was attacking the whole subcontinent, but we responded like it was just a local fight. Example. If a flood hits the city, but every neighborhood tries to stop the water only for their own lane, the whole city will drown. Original line. Even in the moments of our greatest crisis, our rulers did not combine to put up a united defense against the invader. Explanation. Even when there was a huge danger and an enemy was attacking the land, the kings still did not join hands. They did not create one big army or a joint plan to protect India. This is like a group of people being attacked by a wild animal. But instead of joining together to fight it off, they each try to save themselves. Original line. Lack of political unity and proper organization and capable leadership must therefore remain the most important general cause of our helplessness and defeat. Explanation. So the most important reason for our failure and defeat was no unity among kings, poor organization, no planning, no structure, weak or selfish leaders. This made us helpless, even if our soldiers were brave. In the second place, our army organization was based on outworn conception. Explanation. The second big problem, our military system was outdated. What does that mean? Our army was built using old ideas, old methods, and old weapons, even though the world had moved forward. They were ill-organized and ill-equipped. Explanation. Our armies were ill-organized, not properly arranged. No structure, no coordination. Ill-equipped, didn't have good weapons, tools, or armor. Example, fighting a modern enemy with tanks, horses, and cannons using only swords and bows. Our military leaders did not keep themselves in touch with the development of tactics. Explanation. Our commanders didn't learn or update themselves with new war strategies used in other parts of the world. Tactics equals clever battle plans, ways to trick or defeat the enemy. The enemy studied new war tricks. We didn't. Original line. This has been the bane of Indian history through the ages. Explanation. This problem, not updating, and the main weakness, bane of Indian history for centuries. While foreign countries were forging ahead in the field of military development, our people remained stationary. Explanation. While other countries, like the Turks, Persians, etc., were making new weapons, using new plans, and improving, India stood still. We didn't grow or change in military science. We were, therefore, outclassed in weapons and outmaneuvered in tactics. Explanation. This means our weapons were worse than the plans were simpler and weaker. Outsmart us, trick us, surround us, and defeat us easily. Original line. The great Mughal Emperor Babur noted in his diary in 1526 that Indians know how to die and not how to fight. Explanation. Babur, who fought and won the first battle of Panipat, wrote that Indians were brave. They were not afraid of death. But they did not know how to fight cleverly. This means they didn't know military planning, team movement, or how to trap or surprise the enemy. That is, they were brave and did not shudder from the thought of sacrificing their lives in the field. But they lacked the capacity of taking advantage of the enemy's weakness and making use of feints and maneuvers in the battlefield. Explanation. They were courageous, not afraid of death, but they didn't know how to use the enemy's weakness, use feints, fake attacks to confuse the enemy, use maneuvers, smart moves to surround or trick the enemy. Example. In chess, being brave isn't enough. You must also make clever moves. Indian warriors were like brave chess players with no strategy. Original line. The Rajputs prided themselves on their swordsmanship and looked upon a battle as a tournament in which to display their skill, bravery, and chivalry. Explanation. Rajput warriors were proud of their sword-fighting skill, their honor, chivalry, their bravery. They thought of battle like a sport or honor show, not a deadly war to win at all cost. The Turks, on the other hand, fought to win and believed that everything was fair in war. The Turks didn't care about honor shows. They cared only about victory. They believed that in war, any method, trick, ambush, night attack was okay. That made them more effective fighters. Original line. Thirdly, the masses of our people did not really cooperate with our leaders and soldiers. Explanation. Another big reason. Common people, ordinary citizens, didn't help the rulers and their armies. They didn't feel it was their duty to fight or support the army. Not that they were altogether indifferent to them. On the other hand, They labored under a mistaken notion that it was none of their business to fight. Explanation. It's not that the people didn't care. They did care a little, but they had a wrong belief. They thought, it's not my job to fight. That's the king's and soldiers' problem. This thinking made the country weaker, because a nation is strong only when everyone supports the defense. Original line. They seemed to believe that their lot would remain the same. It did not matter who occupied the throne of Delhi. Explanation. People thought, no matter who is the ruler, Indian or Turk, my life will stay the same. So why should I fight? But this belief was wrong. Foreign rulers changed. Laws, taxes, religion, freedom. So the people's lack of action helped the enemy win. Conclusion. India lost again and again because of 1. No unity among kings. 2. Old military system. 3. Brave but untrained fighters. 4. Common people not helping. 5. Selfish or outdated thinking by rulers and generals. Even with courage, we needed planning, unity, and people's support. But we didn't have it. Would you like me to turn this into a comedy, a Q&A revision sheet, a flashcard deck for remembering easily? Let me know. Here is a great, deeply detailed, and very simple summary of the passage, written like I'm explaining to someone with zero background, step by step. Summary. The Ghurids were a group of rulers who came from a small, hidden mountain place called Ghur. This place was not rich, not famous, and very hard to reach. It was located between two powerful empires, the Ghaznavid Empire on one side and the Seljuk Empire on the other. So the Ghurids were like a small group living between two giants. Even though Ghur was such a tiny and quiet place, the Ghurids became powerful and started to rule. This was very surprising because most powerful kings in history usually come from big, rich cities, not small, lonely mountain areas. So their rise to power was unusual and unexpected. When the Ghurids became stronger, they tried to rule over a rich region called Khorasan in present-day Iran and Afghanistan. But the people there did not like them. Why? Because the Ghurids took a lot of taxes and money from them. People had to give money or food to the government, and that made them unhappy. Because of this, the Ghurids had a hard time keeping control over Khorasan. The people were not loyal and maybe even rebelled or resisted. At the same time, the Ghurids were also facing constant wars with other powerful groups. They had to fight the Seljuk Empire in the west and also the Turkish tribes in Central Asia across a big river called the Oxus, modern-day Amudarya. So the Ghurids were surrounded by enemies, and they were not secure in their homeland. Because of these problems, trouble in Khorasan, wars with the Seljuks, and enemies in Central Asia, the Ghurids decided to look towards India. India at that time had many rich kingdoms, but they were often divided and fighting each other. The Ghurids saw India as a good place to expand their power, so they began to move east, starting their invasions into northern India. Key ideas, simplified points. 1. Ghurids came from a small, hidden mountain area called Ghur. 2. Their rise to power was very surprising, because Ghur was not rich or powerful. 3. They tried to rule Khorasan, but the people there disliked them because of high taxes. 4. They also had to deal with many enemies, the Seljuks and Turkish tribes. 5. Because of these pressures, they decided to move towards India to find new land and power. Would you like me to explain what happened after they entered India, like their battles with Prithviraj Chauhan or their role in the Delhi Sultanate? Here is a deep, simple, and clear summary of everything you just learned, explained step by step with added background and full detail. Think of it as a beginner-friendly guide that connects all the parts together like a story. Detailed summary. Muhammad Ghori's early invasions of India, 1163 to 1178 CE, written in the simplest way possible with full depth. 1. The beginning. A small mountain kingdom. Ghur, 1163 CE. In the year 1163 CE, a man named Ghiyasuddin Muhammad became the king, ruler, of a small but tough kingdom called Gur, located in today's Afghanistan. Gur was not a rich land. It was full of mountains and strong warrior tribes. Ghiyasuddin belonged to the Ghurid dynasty, a family of rulers. 2. Brotherly rule, sharing power with Muhammad Ghori. Ghiyasuddin had a younger brother. His name was Muizzuddin, but he is most famously known as Muhammad Ghori, which means man from Gur. To follow an old Turkish tribal custom, Ghiyasuddin gave his brother the power to rule another important city called Ghazna, now Ghazni, also in Afghanistan. In Turkish tribal tradition, brothers often shared power instead of fighting for it. Ghiyasuddin and Ghori acted like a smart team. Ghiyasuddin would take care of problems in the west, like in Iran and Central Asia. Ghori would take care of expanding the empire to the east, into India. This gave Muhammad Ghori freedom to focus completely on conquering Indian lands. 3. Why Muhammad Ghori wanted to conquer India. India was a rich land with many small kingdoms. It had no one big ruler at that time. Instead, it was ruled by many local kings, like the Rajputs. These kings often fought each other, which made them weaker. For Ghori, India looked like a great opportunity. He could build a powerful empire. He could become richer and more famous. He could spread his power over new lands. 4. First invasion. Multan and Uch, 1175 CE. In 1175 CE, Muhammad Ghori made his first move toward India. But he did not go straight into North India. He entered from the southwest through today's Pakistan. He attacked and captured 2 cities, Multan, Uch. These were important Muslim cities in southern Punjab. They had local rulers, but they were not very powerful. By taking them, Ghori created a safe base, a place from where he could launch future attacks deeper into India. This first step was successful. 5. Second invasion, a big mistake in Gujarat. In 1178 CE, Muhammad Ghori made his next move, but this time he made a bad mistake. He tried to invade the powerful kingdom of Gujarat, ruled by the Solanki Rajput dynasty. To get there, he marched his army across the Thar Desert, very hot and dry. The desert was a big problem. His army became tired, hot, and thirsty. They lost strength and speed. When they finally reached Gujarat, the local Rajput army was ready for battle. The result, Ghori was attacked and defeated badly by King Mularaja Tek of Gujarat. His army was crushed. He had to escape quickly, going back across the desert. Many soldiers died on the way back. This was Muhammad Ghori's first major failure in India. 6. What this taught him. This defeat taught Muhammad Ghori an important lesson. Never enter India through the desert again. Next time, he would try a different route, from Punjab into northern India. He would also focus on dividing and defeating the Rajputs, one by one, instead of going for the strong kingdoms first. This new plan would lead to his later victories, like the famous First Battle of Tarain in 1191, and the Second Battle of Tarain in 1192, where he finally succeeded in entering and capturing parts of North India. Final summary, in just a few lines. In 1163 CE, Ghiyasuddin became king of Gur and gave part of his power to his brother Ghori. Ghori focused on conquering India, while his brother focused on the west. In 1175, Ghori successfully captured Multan and Uch to build a base. In 1178, he made a bad decision to invade Gujarat through the desert and was defeated by the Rajputs. This taught him to change his plans for future invasions. Would you like me to now continue this story with what happened after 1178, how Ghori came back, his battles with Prithviraj Chauhan, and how the Delhi Sultanate began? I can explain all that step by step in the same clear way. Here is a great, deeply detailed summary of the Battle of Kayadra, 1178 CE. And all the connected events, written in very simple, clear, and step-by-step English, as if teaching a beginner with no background. I've added extra context, important names, and reasons to make it complete and flawless. Summary of the Battle of Kayadra, 1178 CE. in the deepest simple detail. 1. Who were the Solankis? Chalukyas of Gujarat. The Solankis were a Rajput royal family. They ruled a kingdom in western India, mainly North Gujarat and South Rajasthan. Their capital city was called Anahilavada, today's Pan, in Gujarat. This kingdom was wealthy, strong, and had powerful local kings under it, called feudatories. 2. Who was Muhammad Ghori? Muhammad Ghori was a ruler from Ghor, a region in modern-day Afghanistan. He wanted to build a big Islamic empire by invading parts of northern India. He came after Mahmud of Ghazni, who had attacked India many times between 1000 to 1030 CE. In 1178 CE, Ghori tried to invade India for the first time by attacking Gujarat. 3. Why did he choose Gujarat to attack? Gujarat was rich and powerful. It had many temples, cities, and wealth. Ghori believed this would be an easy victory since he thought the Indian rulers were divided, but he was wrong. 4. Who was the Solanki king at that time? Historians are not sure. It was either Mularajat Seku, a young child king, or his brother Bhimasu, who may have helped rule on his behalf. Either way, the Solankis were ready to defend their kingdom. 5. Who helped the Solankis? The Solanki king did not fight alone. He got help from important feudatory kings. 1. Kelhanadeva, king of Nadula, now in Rajasthan, belonged to the Chahamana dynasty, related to Chauhans. 2. Kirtipala, ruler of Jalore, another area in Rajasthan, also a Chahamana. 3. Dharavarsha, a Paramara king from Arbuda, modern Mount Abu in Rajasthan. The Paramaras were another Rajput dynasty. Each of these kings brought soldiers, cavalry, horsemen, and support. Together with the Solanki king, they formed a strong united army. 6. The Battle of Kayadra. The two sides met at a place called Kayadra, south of Mount Abu. It is in modern-day Gujarat. Ghori's army came through the mountain passes and expected an easy win. But the Indian side was well prepared and united. In the battle, Ghori's forces were defeated. Many of his men were killed or captured. Ghori himself escaped with difficulty and went back to Afghanistan. 7. What was the result of the battle? This was a major Indian. It showed that Indian kings could unite and defend their land. It was one of the few big defeats of Muhammad Ghori in India. He did not return to Gujarat again for many years. The Solankis became famous victory. 8. What was happening in North India at the same time? The Chauhans Chahamanas were another Rajput dynasty. They ruled in Ajmer and were expanding towards Delhi, Mathura, western and northern India. They had to face many raids from the Ghaznavids, the rulers who came after Mahmud of Ghazni. Their lands were more open to foreign invasions, unlike Gujarat, which had more protection from hills and distance. Why is this battle important in Indian history? It was the first major defeat of Muhammad Ghori. It delayed Muslim expansion into western India for some time. It showed the strength of Rajput unity, even though Rajput kings usually fought among themselves. It was one of the last big victories of Indian rulers before the Muslim conquests of North India in the late 1100s and 1200s. 10. What happened later? Around 1191 to 1192 CE, Muhammad Ghori came again, but this time towards Delhi. He fought Prithviraj Chauhan in the First Battle of Tarain, 1191 CE. He lost. Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. He won, and Prithviraj was defeated. After that, Ghori's armies began taking over more and more parts of North India. This started the rule of Delhi Sultanate in the 13th century. Final deep summary. Easy words, full detail. In 1178 CE, Muhammad Ghori, a king from Afghanistan, attacked Gujarat. He was stopped by the Solankis, Chalukyas of Gujarat, and their feudatory allies, small kings under them. The Indian kings won at the Battle of Kayadra. Ghori was defeated badly and went back. This victory was a rare success for Indian unity before Ghori's later conquests in North India. Meanwhile, the Chauhans were growing in power but were often attacked by foreign raiders. The battle showed the strength of Rajput cooperation, even though it didn't last forever. It was a shining moment for Gujarat's history and one of the last great Indian victories before northern India began falling under Muslim rule. Would you like a story version, timeline, map, or a child-level retelling of this too? I can also explain what the battle looked like, with descriptions of the weapons, soldiers. Here's the greatest, deepest, most detailed summary of the battles of Tarain, 1191 and 1192 CE, written in the simplest language possible, as if you are learning for the first time. It explains everything clearly, step by step, with added background and reasons, so that nothing is confusing. Big picture before the battles. Who were the two main people? 1. Muhammad Ghori. He was a ruler from Ghor in present-day Afghanistan. He wanted to create a big empire in India, not just loot and return like earlier invaders, like Mahmud of Ghazni. By 1190 CE, Ghori had already taken Multan, Sindh, and Punjab. Now he wanted to go further, towards Delhi. 2. Prithviraj Chauhan. He was a Hindu Rajput king from the Chahamana dynasty. He ruled from Ajmer and Delhi. He was powerful and known for his bravery and strength. Other smaller Rajput rulers looked up to him for leadership. First Battle of Tarain, 1191 CE. What caused the battle? Ghori captured a fort called Tabarhinda, now Bathinda, in Punjab. This fort was very close to Delhi, and it was a strategic place. If Ghori kept it, he could easily attack Delhi next. Think of it like this. If someone takes over your front gate, your house becomes unsafe. What did Prithviraj do? He quickly marched with his army to stop Ghori. He didn't wait. He acted fast and boldly. Many other Rajput rulers joined him as allies. Examples: Govind Rai, his relative, rulers of Delhi region, and others. What happened in the battle? The two armies fought at Tarain, near modern-day Thansar in Haryana. The Rajput army had more elephants and a larger force. Ghori's army was tired and not ready for a big fight. Result: Ghori was badly injured in battle. A loyal Khilji horseman saved his life and took him away. Prithviraj won and regained the fort of Tabarhinda. Mistake after victory. What should Prithviraj have done? He could have chased Ghori back to Afghanistan. He could have attacked Ghori's base and ended the danger forever. But what did he do? He did nothing further. He thought the fight was just a small border problem. He assumed Ghori would not return. He believed Ghori was like Mahmud of Ghazni, who raided and left, but Ghori was different. He wanted to stay and rule. Why didn't he act? Maybe he didn't want to go too far from his own land. Maybe he didn't realize how serious Ghori's plans were. Maybe he thought one victory was enough. Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. What happened next? In just 1 year, Ghori came back, stronger and better prepared. He had a larger army, more horsemen, better war tactics, like sudden attacks and flanking. What about Prithviraj? He was not ready for another war so soon. His army was not fully prepared. He underestimated Ghori again. This time, the roles had reversed. Ghori was strong, and Prithviraj was not ready. The Second Battle of Tarain took place at the same location as before. Ghori used surprise and speed to defeat the Rajputs. The Rajput army was scattered and defeated. Prithviraj Chauhan was captured. What happened to Prithviraj? Some stories say Ghori killed him immediately. Other stories say he was taken to Ghazni and executed there later. Ballads and folk legends like Prithviraj Raso give romantic versions of his death, but historians don't agree on the exact truth. Aftermath. What changed forever? After the second battle, Ghori took control of Delhi and surrounding areas. He made his general Qutb-ud-Din Aibak the governor of India. This was the beginning of Muslim rule in North India. From this point on, the Delhi Sultanate would rise and rule for hundreds of years. Final lessons from Tarain 1. Don't underestimate your enemy. A lost enemy can return stronger. 2. One victory is not enough. You must finish the job. 3. War is not just bravery. It also needs planning, speed, and timing. 4. Don't ignore a second chance your enemy gets. Ghori used his chance wisely. Simple final summary, childlike version. A king from Afghanistan, Ghori, wanted to take India. He captured a fort near Delhi. King Prithviraj fought him and won the first time. But he didn't chase him or stop him completely. Ghori came back the next year, stronger. This time, he won and captured Delhi. That was the start of a new chapter in Indian history. Delhi came under Muslim rule. Let me know if you want a timeline, a comic version, a Q&A revision set, a map to show the battles. I can explain anything further. Just ask. Absolutely. Here's a great, deeply detailed, and super simple summary of everything we just explained, written like you are learning for the first time. No hard words, no confusion, only clear, easy understanding. Deep and simple summary. The Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. What was the Second Battle of Tarain? It was a very big and important war. It happened in the year 1192 CE, in a place called Tarain, near today's Haryana, India. Two powerful rulers fought in it. Prithviraj Chauhan, a Rajput Hindu king of North India. Muhammad Ghori, a Muslim king from Ghor, in today's Afghanistan. Why was it so important? Historians call it a turning point in Indian history. That means this battle changed the future of India. After this battle, Muslim rule started to spread widely in northern India. It opened the door for the Delhi Sultanate, which ruled India for many centuries. What happened before the second battle? 1 year earlier, in 1191, Ghori and Prithviraj had already fought a battle in the same place, First Battle of Tarain. In that first battle, Prithviraj Chauhan won. Ghori was wounded and had to run away. How did Muhammad Ghori prepare for the second battle? He was very angry after losing. He punished many of his own commanders, called emirs, who did not fight bravely in the first battle. He planned carefully and made his army stronger. He brought in better soldiers. He made sure everyone was well trained. He gave them steel armor and good weapons. He was very serious about not losing again. How big were the armies? We don't know the exact numbers of soldiers because old writers gave different guesses. A historian named Minhaji Siraj, who lived close to that time, said Ghori had about 120,000 soldiers, 1.2 lakh. His soldiers wore metal coats, armor for protection. Another historian named Farishta, who lived 400 years later, said Prithviraj had a huge army, 3,000 elephants, 3,000 horsemen, 3 lakh, and many foot soldiers. These numbers may not be perfectly true, but they show that Prithviraj had more soldiers than Ghori. So what does all this mean? Ghori came back a much stronger army. Prithviraj had more soldiers, but Ghori was better prepared. This battle was a huge moment in Indian history. The result of this battle would decide who controls northern India. Summary in one simple paragraph. In the year 1192, two kings, Prithviraj Chauhan and Muhammad Ghori, fought a major battle at a place called Tarain. A year before, Prithviraj had defeated Ghori in the same spot. But Ghori came back well prepared with stronger soldiers and better training. Even though Prithviraj had a bigger army, Ghori's army was more ready for battle. This battle became one of the most important moments in Indian history because it helped start Muslim rule in India for the next several hundred years. Would you like me to now explain what happened in the actual battle itself, how Ghori defeated Prithviraj, in the same very simple and deeply detailed way? Absolutely. Here is a great, deep, and detailed summary of the causes of Prithviraj Chauhan's defeat in the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE, in the simplest and clearest language possible, with everything fully explained like you're learning it for the first time. Deep summary. Why Prithviraj Chauhan lost the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192 CE. Background. In 1191 CE, Prithviraj Chauhan, a Rajput king of North India, had defeated Muhammad Ghori, a foreign ruler from Afghanistan, in the First Battle of Tarain. But the very next year, in 1192 CE, Muhammad Ghori returned. This time, he was better prepared, smarter, and used clever war tricks. Prithviraj thought he could win again, but he was wrong. This led to his complete defeat in the Second Battle of Tarain. Main causes of his defeat. 1. Ghori's fast horsemen versus Prithviraj's slow army. Muhammad Ghori used lightly armed cavalry, men on horses with bows and arrows. These horsemen could move fast, attack suddenly, then run away before being caught. They attacked from all sides, which caused confusion in Prithviraj's army. But Prithviraj's army was slow. It had foot soldiers, elephants, and heavy equipment. They could not move or react quickly. Effect: Ghori's quick attacks, tired, confused, and scared Prithviraj's men. They couldn't catch or stop the fast enemy. Number 2. Ghori used clever tricks, war strategy. Ghori used a fake retreat. He pretended his army was running away. Prithviraj's army chased them, thinking they were winning. But Ghori had hidden soldiers waiting behind. As soon as the Rajputs chased, the hidden soldiers attacked from behind. Effect: Prithviraj's army was trapped, attacked from both front and back, and couldn't escape. This clever trick broke his army. 3. Prithviraj thought Ghori was just a plunderer. Earlier, invaders from Ghazni and Afghanistan had only come to loot, not to stay and rule. So, Prithviraj believed Ghori was also just a robber who would go back after looting. But Ghori was not just a plunderer. He wanted to build an empire in India. He had long-term goals and was willing to fight again and again. Effect: Prithviraj didn't take Ghori's threat seriously. He underestimated him and didn't prepare properly for a big second battle. 4. Prithviraj lost support from other Indian kings. When Prithviraj became powerful, he tried to expand his kingdom. Some neighboring rulers felt angry or threatened by him. Even though some had helped him in 1191, they did not support him in 1192. Effect: He had fewer allies and less military support when Ghori returned. He stood more alone in the second battle. 5. Lack of unity among Rajputs, weak Rajput polity. Rajput kings were brave, but they often fought among themselves. They had no political unity, no single leader to command all Rajputs. They believed more in personal bravery than teamwork or national defense. Each king focused only on his own kingdom, not on India as a whole. Effect: There was no strong, united defense. Prithviraj fought almost alone, while other Rajput rulers didn't help. 6. Prithviraj did not learn from the past, but Ghori did. After losing in 1191, Ghori went back and improved everything, made his army better, changed his war strategies, planned smarter attacks, but Prithviraj did not learn or change his methods. He thought victory would come easily again, and didn't prepare new plans. Effect: One side grew smarter, the other stayed the same. That gave Ghori a big advantage. Final result: Prithviraj Chauhan, though brave and respected, was defeated and captured. Muhammad Ghori won the Second Battle of Tarain, and this battle opened the doors of North India to Muslim rule. This was a turning point in Indian history because it helped Ghori lay the foundation for the Delhi Sultanate, a Muslim kingdom that would rule large parts of India for many years. Key lessons, in simple words. Problem, simple meaning. Ghori's cavalry was fast. Prithviraj's army couldn't handle speedy attacks. Ghori used brain, not just strength. He tricked Prithviraj with a fake retreat. Prithviraj didn't understand Ghori's goal, thought he was just looting, not trying to rule. Other Indian kings didn't help. Prithviraj had made some of them angry. Rajputs didn't work as a team. Too much pride, not enough unity. Ghori prepared better. He learned from past mistakes. Prithviraj didn't. Conclusion: Prithviraj Chauhan's defeat was not because he was weak. It was because he didn't plan carefully, didn't unite with others, didn't understand his enemy's real goal, and didn't change his strategy when the enemy came back smarter. Muhammad Ghori, on the other hand, used planning, teamwork, speed, and brain power. not just bravery. That is why he won, and Indian history changed forever after this battle. Let me know if you want a diagram or flowchart version, a memory trick to remember these points, a storytelling version like a movie scene. I'm here to make this unforgettable for you. Here is a great, deepest, and most detailed summary of the Battle of Chandawar, 1194 CE, and everything around it, explained in the simplest, clearest way for someone with no history background. This summary covers the events, causes, battle, results, and long-term impact, with added examples and easy language. 1. Background. What was happening before the battle? North India was ruled by many Hindu kings. There was no single emperor. Each king ruled his own region and often fought against other Indian kings. 2 powerful kings in North India. 1. Prithviraj Chauhan ruled Delhi and Ajmer. 2. Jayachandra ruled Kannauj and Varanasi from the Gahadavala dynasty. Muhammad Ghori from Afghanistan, a foreign Muslim ruler from Ghor in present-day Afghanistan. He wanted to conquer and rule parts of India, not just loot. He first fought Prithviraj Chauhan in the Second Battle of Tarain, 1192, and won. After defeating Prithviraj, he now turned east to attack Jai Chand. 2. The Battle of Chandawar, 1194. Location, fought near the Yamuna River at Chandawar in today's Etawah district, Uttar Pradesh. Armies, Muhammad Ghori, around 50,000 horsemen, fast-moving cavalry, horse riders. King of a large, wealthy kingdom, but not known for military skill. What happened in the battle? The battle was intense. Jai Chand's army fought bravely, but Ghori's cavalry tactics were better. Jai Chand was killed in the battle. After his death, his army lost hope and scattered. Muhammad Ghori won the battle. 3. Aftermath of the battle. Huge destruction and robbery, plunder. Ghori's army looted cities and forts. They killed many people. This is called a slaughter. Important places affected. 1. Azni Fort in Fatehpur district. It had the Gahadavala royal treasury, stored wealth. Ghori's army robbed it completely. 2. Varanasi, Benares, a holy city with many Hindu temples. The city was plundered and many temples were destroyed. This had a deep emotional and religious impact. 3. Kannauj, the capital of Jai Chand's kingdom. Though the battle was in 1194, Ghori's forces fully captured Kannauj by 1198. It took time to control the region completely. Importance of the battle. Along with the Second Battle of Tarain, Chandawar destroyed the 2 most powerful Hindu rulers of North India, Prithviraj and Jai Chand, left the Ganga Valley open for Turkish Muslim rule. No strong Indian army was left to resist the Turks in that region. Muhammad Ghori now controlled Delhi, Ajmer, Kannauj, and the area around Varanasi. These cities were political and religious centers and very rich. And 5. What came next? Turkish rule begins. Ghori left his trusted general Kupuddin Aybak in charge. This was the beginning of the Delhi Sultanate, a Muslim-ruled kingdom in North India. Turkish rule in North India became permanent. Little resistance after that. After Chandawar, most Indian kings did not fight back in a big way. There were some small uprisings, but no united movement. Took 50 more years to fully control. Even though Ghori won big battles, it still took the Turks around 50 years to crush all small revolts, build solid governance systems, make their rules stable and accepted. Measure 6. Why this battle matters in Indian history. Key turning point. The defeat of Jai Chand ended the last major Hindu resistance in North India in that period. Opened the Ganga Plains. Ghori now had access to the heart of India. Cities, trade, temples, people, wealth. Start of centuries of Muslim rule. After this battle, Muslim rulers, starting with the Delhi Sultans, controlled large parts of India for hundreds of years. Simple analogy to understand. Imagine a big house, India, with many rooms, kingdoms. 2 big guards, Prithviraj and Jai Chand, were protecting the most important rooms, Delhi and Kannauj. Then a powerful outsider, Ghori, comes, beats both guards in 2 fights, Tarain and Chandawar, and takes over those rooms. After that, no one in the house is strong enough to stop him. He brings his own men to live there and makes new rules. That's how foreign Turkish rule began in northern India. Final deepest summary in bullet points. Muhammad Ghori wanted to rule rich cities of North India. After defeating Prithviraj Chauhan, 1192, he attacked Jaichand, 1194. Battle fought at Chandawar, near Yamuna River. Jaichand died in the battle. Ghori won. Ghori's army looted Asni Fort, plundered Varanasi, destroyed temples. Kanauj captured by 1198. This battle, along with Tarin, opened the door to Turkish Muslim rule in India. Most Indian rulers did not resist after that. It took 50 years for Turks to fully control the region. This battle was a major turning point in Indian history. Would you like a timeline or an explanation of what happened after Muhammad Ghori's death? Absolutely. Here is the most deeply detailed and simple summary of the paragraph you gave, explained in the clearest and most beginner-friendly way possible, like teaching someone with no background knowledge at all. Deep, clear, beginner-friendly summary of the passage. Muhammad Ghori was one of the most important kings in medieval history, especially in the history of India and South Asia. He belonged to the Ghurid dynasty, which was a family of rulers from a mountainous region called Ghor, located in present-day Afghanistan. His full name was Shahabuddin Muhammad, and he was also called Muizuddin Muhammad bin Sam. But most people know him simply as Muhammad Ghori, which means Muhammad from Ghor. At first, he ruled the Ghurid Empire together with his elder brother, named Ghiyath-ud-Din Muhammad, from around 1173 CE to 1202 CE. They were like partners in ruling a big kingdom. After his brother died in 1202, Muhammad Ghori became the only ruler and stayed in power until his own death in 1206 CE. He is remembered as one of the greatest kings of his dynasty. Historians give him great credit for starting Muslim rule in India. This was a major turning point in Indian history. His actions led to the beginning of many Muslim kingdoms and dynasties in India, such as the Delhi Sultanate, which ruled for a very long time. The rule that Muhammad Ghori began was not just in India. It spread to a much bigger region called South Asia, which includes today's countries like India, Pakistan, Bangladesh, and parts of Afghanistan. The Muslim rule he helped to start continued for many centuries, hundreds of years, and changed the culture, religion, language, architecture, and politics of the region in powerful ways. His empire, at its largest, covered a huge area. Today, the lands he once ruled are parts of 7 different modern countries: Afghanistan, Pakistan, India, Iran, Bangladesh, Tajikistan, Turkmenistan. So, even though Muhammad Ghori ruled for only a few decades, the impact of what he started, especially the spread of Muslim rule into India, was massive and long-lasting. Extra simple analogy. Think of Muhammad Ghori like a person who planted a seed, the seed of Muslim kingdoms in India. That small seed grew into a huge tree, the Delhi Sultanate and later empires, which gave shade, rule, culture, buildings, language for hundreds of years. He may not have stayed in India himself for long, but he opened the door for others to come and rule. Why he is important. He defeated Indian kings and made it possible for future Muslim rulers to enter and rule. He helped begin the Delhi Sultanate, which ruled for about 300 years after him. His rule linked India to the wider Islamic world, to places like Iran and Central Asia. His empire was very large and powerful, even though he ruled only a short time. He changed the course of Indian history by beginning a new phase, the medieval Islamic period. Would you like me to explain how exactly he entered India? Or what battles he fought, like with Prithviraj Chauhan? I can explain those in the same simple, clear way, step by step. Here is a great, deeply detailed summary of the entire passage you shared, explained in the simplest and clearest way, with extra background, examples, and context to help you fully understand the meaning, like the best teacher would do. deep and clear summary. Background of the Ghurid dynasty. 1. The Seljuks replaced the Ghaznavids. In the beginning, the Ghaznavid Empire was a strong and famous power in the Islamic world. They ruled from Ghazni, in today's Afghanistan. But later, another powerful Muslim group came, the Seljuks, who were Turkish warriors. The Seljuks became more powerful and took over many areas that were once controlled by the Ghaznavids. So, the Ghaznavid Empire began to fade, and the Seljuks took their place as the main rulers. In short, the Ghaznavids lost power, and the Seljuks became the new strong rulers. Seljuk power broken by new Turkish tribes. Around the middle of the 1100s, 12th century, a new wave of Turkish tribes appeared. These tribes were not yet Muslims. They were partly Buddhists and partly pagans, people who believed in nature spirits or old gods. These new tribes attacked the Seljuks and destroyed their power. This caused a power vacuum, which means no one was in full control. In short, new tribes broke the power of the Seljuks, creating an open space for new rulers to rise. 3. Two new empires rise, Khwarezmis and Ghurids. In this vacuum, empty space of power, two new empires became important. 1. Khwarezmi Empire, ruled from Iran, west. 2. Ghurid Empire, ruled from Ghur, in the mountainous region of northwest Afghanistan, east. These two powers filled the gap left by the fall of the Seljuks. In short, two strong empires, Khwarezmis and Ghurids, rose up in place of the Seljuks. 4. The Ghurids were once vassals of the Ghaznavids. The Ghurids were originally vassals of the Ghaznavids. A vassal means a junior or helper kingdom. They had to obey and pay tribute to their master, the Ghaznavid rulers. But over time, the Ghurids grew stronger, gained military power, and defeated the Ghaznavids. In short, the Ghurids began as servants, but became stronger and overthrew their masters. 5. Sultan Alauddin and his revenge on Ghazni. One powerful king of the Ghurid dynasty was Sultan Alauddin. His brothers had been treated badly by the Ghaznavids earlier, maybe tortured, imprisoned, or killed. To take revenge, Alauddin attacked the city of Ghazni, capital of the Ghaznavids. He burned the whole city and destroyed it completely. Because of this, people gave him the name Jahan Soz, which means burner of the world. In short, Sultan Alauddin took revenge by burning Ghazni, earning a fierce nickname. 6. Khwarezmis blocked Ghurid expansion westward. The Ghurids wanted to expand west into Central Asia, lands like Iran, Turkmenistan, etc. But the Khwarezmi Empire was already powerful in that direction. The Khwarezmis became a barrier to Ghurid expansion. Especially the area of Khorasan, a rich and strategic region in Western Asia, became the center of conflict. Eventually, Khwarezm Shah, king of Khwarezmis, took control of Khorasan. In short, the Ghurids couldn't go west because the Khwarezmis blocked their path. Ghurids turned eastward, towards India. Since they were blocked from going west, the Ghurids looked in another direction, eastward, toward India. They had no choice but to expand into northern India, where many small kingdoms existed. This would lead to major invasions of India, especially by Muhammad of Ghor, one of the most famous Ghurid leaders. In short, with the west blocked, the Ghurids turned toward India, setting the stage for their conquests there. Final summary in just a few sentences. Ultra simple. The Ghurid dynasty rose in Afghanistan after the fall of the Ghaznavids and Seljuks. They were once servants of the Ghaznavids, but grew stronger and destroyed them. Sultan Alauddin, a powerful Ghurid king, took revenge on Ghazni and burned it. The Ghurids wanted to expand into Central Asia, but the Khwarezmi Empire stopped them. So, they turned toward India to grow their empire, which led to future invasions by Muhammad Ghori. Would you like me to now explain the next part, the Ghurid invasions of India by Muhammad Ghori, also in the same easy and deep way? Here is a great, deeply clear, simple summary of the passage you gave, explained as if teaching a total beginner with no background in history. Summary in the most simple words. In 1173 CE, a man named Muhammad Ghori became the ruler of Ghazni, a city in present-day Afghanistan. But his elder brother was already ruling another place called Ghur, also in Afghanistan. Even though he got Ghazni, Muhammad Ghori was not happy with only that. He wanted more land, more power, and a bigger empire. He looked at India and noticed something very important. India was not united. Many small kingdoms were fighting each other. The kings and people were divided by religion, caste, and other social issues. Their armies were not very strong or modern. And most importantly, India was extremely rich. There was a lot of gold, treasure, and wealth. Also, Muhammad Ghori wanted to spread Islam in India. So, because of all these reasons, power, wealth, and religion, he started attacking India many times. But unlike Mahmud of Ghazni, who came to India before him, Muhammad Ghori did not just want to steal gold and go back. He wanted to stay and rule. So his invasion was well planned and organized. When he won a place, he left a general, military officer, behind to rule it for him. This helped him to slowly build a strong empire in the northern part of India, above the Vindhya Mountains, which separate North and South India. Even though Mahmud of Ghazni was never defeated in battles, Muhammad Ghori was more successful in the long run because he created a permanent empire in India. But the main difference between the two was Mahmud of Ghazni came only to loot wealth and go back. Muhammad Ghori came to conquer land and rule India. Final thought. Mahmud of Ghazni was like a robber who attacks a house, steals, and runs away. Muhammad Ghori was like a man who comes, defeats the owners, and stays to live in the house. That is why Muhammad Ghori's actions changed Indian history forever. His rule laid the foundation for the Turkish Sultanate in India, which would later lead to the Delhi Sultanate. Let me know if you want this turned into a diagram, timeline, or Q&A style.